What is going on, my YouTube family? It is your boy Xery, and I am in kind of a studio now. Our work went to remote, and I moved my stuff down in my son's room, who doesn't really live here much anymore. So, yeah, pretty cool. So y'all have to let me know how I sound, how this comes out, all that good, cool stuff that goes along with it, but pretty excited for that. And the game just crashed, and I don't know why. Alright, and we are back now, so yeah, don't know what happened there. But we're on my account. I can't show you the test account like I normally do because of we're testing some stuff and I can't get into that. But anyways, what we're going to talk about today... Man, my screen's all messed up. What the heck is going on here? Okay, so, like I was saying, what we're going to talk about today, and trying to get all this stuff worked out, is the latest vote in the polls, and it should be popping up right there. And it was Dragon Slayers. So we're going to jump into Dragon Slayers. We're going to rank them worst to first. You all seem to like this video quite a bit, so let's get into that. So the Dragon Slayers, we have 10 of them. We're going to rank them worst to first, and we're going to see what they all bring, and we're going to go from there. So starting with number 10. Number 10 for me is Yogi. Yogi has really good potential in his kit. It's just, it doesn't hold up in anything but raids. He's a raid character, and that shouldn't be necessarily held against him. But if you really want him to be successful in raids, you have to get him to gear 11. And that doesn't happen because, I mean, it happens. You get him to gear 11, but it's a lot of sync for just one game mode. He doesn't really fit into a Pride faction. But if you look at his kit, it sounds pretty good. Increases potency by 30%. Also gives Warrior Trickster 30% potency. Tried to make that character better, but it didn't work. Decreases the cooldown of random abilities of the target ally by 2 turns and restores 50% turn meter. Sounds great, right? Then he has 220 magic damage to the target, 110 magic damage to all other enemies, and blinds the main target for 2 turns. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, damage is low. He's kind of like a support character. He does 240 magic damage, 50% chance to inflict slow. If the enemy is poisoned, he has a 30% chance to stun him. So his kit doesn't read bad at all. It's just trying to find a spot for him to be used is extremely difficult. And other than raids, he really doesn't have a character. I love his model, his character model. I think he's so well built, how he changes colors. He's just a super cool character. I mean, his stats, he's slow. It's hard to get him up. I mean, I got 3 dot. I got 1, 2 in there, and I got him at 179, gear 11. So it takes a lot to get him going. So it upsets me that he's number 10 because I want him to be good, but he just isn't. So Yogi, number 10. Darian, number 9. And I would rather have Yogi over Darian, but Darian can provide more for you, especially if it's a Dragon Slayer team and you don't have a lead. He can provide at least some sort of semblance of a lead. And at gear level 6, both the physical armor and magic armor of all allies increases by 30%. Allied members of the Order have a 50% chance to remove a buff at the end of their turn. Alright, you know, at least it's something, and that's what makes him number 9. I've talked to Darian at length, okay? Level 6 increases physical armor by 25%. At the end of the turn, Darian has a 50% chance to gauge a dodge increase for 1 turn. Just make that 100%. Just give him a dodge increase at the end of his ability, and he could be useful. Gains taunt and armor increase for 2 turns, removes 2 buffs, and restores 25% health. Okay, then this move here, Inspiring Blow. 240 physical damage to 3 enemies, has a 50% chance of implying an armor increase to 3 allies for 2 turns. Just make it 100%. Or leave it at 50 and make it the whole team. I just don't understand that move. It would be he'd be such a more beneficial character if that was done. Then his basic ability Deals 180 to physical damage to an enemy, 260 if it's an orc. What the hell does that really do for us? Absolutely nothing. It's pretty much dealing 180 physical damage. Put something on there like an armor reduction on his basic or something. The only reason Darian comes in at number 9, because he can be abundantly tanky. You can build this guy up and he can be a pain in the butt to kill. But you don't want to because his move kit's just terrible. So the only reason he's 9 is for the leadership. Number 8 to me, Keggy. Keggy got better, especially if you pair him with Boreas. Now, I know Boris isn't here in the Dragon Slayers, but Keggy can bring some things to the table that could help you out. Increases magic damage by 30% if Boris is in the party. At the start of the battle, Keggy and Boris both gain dodge increase for 2 turns. Okay, so he's given himself magic damage. Now, he is extremely hard to keep alive, but he gains haste and applies it to 4 allies for 2 turns, giving yourself some turn meter. 190 magic damage and a 50% chance to increase allies' accuracy for 3 turns. Not terrible, but again, that should be 100%, and it's a really weak AoE. Really weak. 160 magic damage with a 50% chance to repeat the attack. The second part isn't bad, but we're seeing people on a basic do 220, 240 on a basic. I'm not saying he has to be a legendary status, but, you know, maybe his basic deals 180 and his AoE deals 200 or something. But he isn't bad. He can give you haste. He's just very, very hard to keep alive. But he can fill in as like that off AoE. So if you're building a team of Dragon Slayers like with Snorri and Freezard and you need another AoE damage dealer that can bring some other things to the table, Keggy can do that for you. Number 7, Sgt Pigwald. And Sgt Pigwald would have been lower on the list if I made this a month and a half ago before the patch came out where he kind of got a buff. And looking at his abilities here, increases physical damage by 30% and 5% for each living goblin in the party. Fantastic. You run him in a goblin party, you're getting an additional 55% physical damage. This guy can nuke. There's no question this guy can nuke. He can take someone down pretty quickly if you can keep him alive. Deals 260 physical damage to 2 enemies with the lowest health. If this ability kills an enemy, its cooldown is instantly reset. It is awesome because it gets around invisible, it gets around taunt. He can do some damage. But the problem is this charge ability. Sgt Pigwald gains charge. Increases the damage to his next target by 2.35 times. Guaranteed to deal a critical hit. This effect cannot be prevented or removed. This ability with charge recovers 50% turn meter. You're wasting a turn. Turns like lock and load drive me insane. They drive me absolutely insane, and I don't know. I hate using a move where he does nothing. He is so squishy that sometimes you can do this, and if they got heavy AoEers, he's down before he even can go again. So he's very difficult to keep alive, and lock and load, although it's a fantastic move, is sometimes hard to get off. Then his basic ability deals 250 physical damage to an enemy. The target is below 50% health, deals 310 physical damage instead, and then he calls Arno in to assist when he's alive. This guy can do some great damage. I mean, look at Keggy. Keggy's AoE doesn't even do 250. So he is better, but the reason he's so low and coming in at number 7 is because he just is so hard to keep alive. It is just so hard to keep him alive. So number 7 is Sgt Pigwald. Number 6, Snorri. Snorri is a very good character. I like Snorri. But he is much like Sgt Pigwald. He can do damage. He's hard to keep alive. So, looking at his move kit, basic ability, Snorri gains 30% magic armor and 30% tenacity when not in berserk stance. If Freezard is on the battlefield, he receives the same buff. This benefits Freezard more than it benefits Snorri. It's the only way I can put it, and it's a kind of a crappy passive. Berserk stance, he assumes berserk stance, gains 50% of his turn meter, removes 3 debuffs. While in berserk stance, Snorri gains 25% critical chance and 40 speed. This effect cannot be prevented or removed. Using this ability again will cancel Berserk Stance. I don't like this move. Again, you're wasting a move. You're getting stuff from it. But once you put this on, you never use it again. And I don't understand the thought behind it. And it doesn't bring a lot to the table for me. Deadly Whirlwind deals 220 physical damage to all enemies and inflicts bleeding for 2 turns. That is absolutely fantastic. You put some damage on him with some potency, and he can do some damage. Then his basic 250 physical damage to an enemy, 50% chance to gain an accuracy increase for 2 turns. The accuracy increase at a 50% clip, not bad because he's doing 250 on a basic. I'm okay with that. That just helps with his Whirlwind. So all in all, he's okay. It's just, again, it comes down to keeping this guy alive. If Freezard's not on the battlefield, forget it. Because they're going to nuke him down. At least with Freezard there, he gets the cheat death. Freezard is a Dragon Slayer, so that's okay. But I would have really liked to seen Snorri be more than what he is. And he's the number 6 character. If I had to make a team, he'd be left off. He can do damage, but he's so squishy. Number 5 is Freezard. And the top 5 is extremely hard for me to make, but it's Freezard. And he could be anywhere in the top 5 on how you build your team. He's a very good character. We take a look at his move kit. He survives a fatal blow, recovers 25% health. Any effect active on him is removed. Can be targeted once per triggered once per battle. If Snorri's on the battlefield, he receives the same buff. Awesome. He has 220 magic damage to all enemies, a 75% chance to decrease turn meter by 25%. Fantastic. Deals 220 magic damage to 3 enemies, 50% chance to inflict an armor decrease. I would like to see this 75 on Blizzard, maybe make that 100, because you're still going through a potency tenacity check, so you could not get it. And then this one here, maybe put that at 75%. That would kind of help out a lot too. And then his basic 230 to magic damage to an enemy, 75% chance to inflict slow. That should definitely be 100%. Freezard going through double potency tenacity checks, make him my 5th character, because you're stuck. I mean, he has at gear 11 he has 41% potency. That's good. Don't get me wrong, that is good. But you really got to make sure your runes have potency in them. You're sacrificing damage or speed. I mean, I got him in a damage health set. I could put him in a damage potency set, but he's a mage. Health and shield combination with runes, he's at 55k. So that's good. That's kind of where you want him. But without that health set, he's at 50k. You know what I'm saying? So, and he recovers 25% of his health on that cheat death, so you want to stack that health on him. So you're kind of stuck between how you going to rune him for how you want to build him. And that's why Freezard comes in as number 5. Great character, but the other 4 are just better. Number 4, Shaddaar. Shaddaar is an exceptional character, and I underrated Shaddaar greatly when I wasn't using him, and I'm using him now, and it's fantastic. And I actually got to bring up his leadership. I never brought up his leadership because now it got reworked, and it's so much better. Let's take it up right now. So at level 6, he increases potency of all allied mages by 20%. All allied demons have an 80% chance to apply slow for 1 turn when afflicting a debuff to an enemy. If the enemy is already slowed, allies recover 25% of their turn meter, but only once per turn. So if they do a multiple hit or something like that, they can only get 25%. That reads perfect to me, because there's caveats in there, and I'm fine with it. You get the 20% for allied mages. Demons have an 80% chance to apply slow. I'm okay with that because they're afflicting a debuff, so we got that caveat there. Then, if they already have slow, the ally recovers 25% of their turn meter. Otherwise, I think the turn meter gain would be just too much. Passive ability increases magic damage by 10% for each living demon in the party. If Radash is on the battlefield, he receives the same buff. Perfectly fine with that. All demon team, you're looking at 50% more magic damage. I'll take that in a heartbeat. This move is fantastic. Earth Armor gains an armor increase and debuff immunity for 2 turns, restores 50% of turn meter to all allies. He is a turn meter machine. he's good. This move is fantastic too. 460 magic damage to an enemy, stuns the target for 1 turn, calls Radash to assist if he's on the battlefield. Great, that is awesome. You know what, you want to put potency on this guy, for sure. And then deals 260 magic damage and inflicts an armor decrease for 2 turns. Really can't complain about his move kit. He's so well built, but he is kind of squishy. I mean, I got him at gear 11. I got 3 and 4 dot runes essentially on this guy. We have a rune down here that's 2 dot. Gives him critical chance. We should probably switch that out to a damage. I do like that one though. 9% more critical chance. Giving himself potency. We're getting more speed on him. Some armor and some shield. So we brought down his physical damage by 5, or magic damage by 11. Not bad. Brought up his crit chance over 30%. Got his speed up to 219. Brought down his tenacity. Gave him % more potency. Alright. Anyways, back to Shaddaar. Just number 4 for me. Because the other 3 characters in my mind are just better. But he is just exceptional. The Dragon Slayer's top 5 is loaded. Number 3 is Tromgar. Tromgar is just... He's one of the only starter characters in Hero Collectors that has endgame viability to me. You get him so early. I shouldn't say starter, because he's not really starter, but early game character. He's so good. I mean, I have pretty good runes on him. I still got a 2 dot on him, which we could probably switch out. Alright, we'll take it. But, I mean, we know his kit. His I don't have his leadership up because I don't use it, but it's not a bad leadership. Both potency and tenacity of allied orcs increase by 30. Each debuff an allied orc inflicts on an enemy, all orcs recover 5% health. You put him with a Xery, she's going to be healing herself a lot. Passive ability, when in defense stance, armor increases by 30%. When in battle stance, physical damage increases by 30%. Okay. Tromgar gains 2 stacks of regeneration for 2 turns and removes all debuffs. You know, I've gone over this before. Just all debuffs is so big. And then he recovers 10% of his health. Right? I mean, he assumes defensive stance. This ability switches him back to battle stance. This effect cannot be prevented or removed. Changing Tromgar's stance applies taunt and counterattack for 2 turns. The only thing I wish about this is when he lost taunt, he went back to battle stance. That's the only thing I'd really change here. But it can be used on the first turn. And then 35% chance to stun a target for 1 turn. Low, but so good. And we know it happens all the time. Tromgar is just exceptional. He is the number 3 Dragon Slayer for me. He gives you a lead if you need one. You know, there isn't really other orcs in here. But he's good. I mean, that potency would go to him. So he's good. I don't really need to go into it. Number 3, Tromgar. Number 2. In 2 and 1 for me is actually like a 1A and a 1B. Kiri is just exceptional. She is just so good. Fidget, her passive ability, recovers 15% turn meter upon taking damage. A counterattack restores shield by 10%. Gains taunt and an armor increase for 2 turns. Recovers 10% of her turn meter for each living demon in the party. Restores shield by 20% of her maximum health. Deals 240 physical damage to all enemies. Recovers health by 50% of the damage dealt. A 50% chance to decrease enemy's turn meter by 15%. If the enemy is affected by slow, decreases the turn meter by 30%. Then on her basic, deals 260 physical damage to an enemy. 50% chance to inflict a heal block for 2 turns. If the target is afflicted by heal block, you put on bleeding. She's just so good. She is so good. She can do so much in this game. Her taunt fluctuates, and once you get used to that up and down fluctuation, it just makes it so much easier. She's just exceptional. She is a tank. She is beefy. I really like Kiri. Number 2 or 1B. Number 1 is Mor'Doom. And if you had to pick one Dragon Slayer, now if you didn't have a tank, I'm taking in Kiri. If you have a tank, bring in Mor'Doom. He does so much to help you out. Passive ability gains 10% tenacity and 10% potency for each living imp in the party. Gains 5% tenacity and 5% potency for each living demon. Unbelievable, right? Then we have Rock's Curse 480 magic damage and inflicts armor decrease, tenacity decrease, slow, damage decrease, potency decrease, and ability block for 3 turns. Awesome. Magic and monsters, he summons 2 of his ints with 50% of his health and 50% of his shield and 80% of his damage. Then you have his basic that removes 2 buffs. So he dispels on his basic at 290 magic damage. This guy is just an absolute stud. So good. And I have a potency rune here. And I left this on here because I wanted to show you, like, if you put him with demons, he's getting potency. If his imps are out, he's getting potency. So do we really... I have a potency set on him, so do we really need potency here, or can we do more damage? So that's kind of what you got to equate it to. And you go in here and we put speed, right? We only have another potency with no speed on it, so I'm going to leave it for now. But you see what I'm saying? You might not need the potency there, but it depends on the comp you run them in. I run them in an orc comp, so I'm depending on the demon or the imps. So at least I have 2, so that's 20% more, so you can leave that there. But you see what I'm saying? If you're running him with a demon comp, put the damage there. So Mor'Doom is just exceptional. He can go really fast. I mean, the damage you don't even really, sometimes you don't even care about. But it does help his imps out, so you got to keep that in mind. So that is Mor'Doom, and he is my number 1 Dragon Slayer. So my YouTube family, there is the worst to first Dragon Slayers. I'll put up another poll. Everybody can vote for what they'd like to see next. I have a lot of fun making these, and you guys all seem to enjoy it. So that is what I got for everybody today. If you're just finding me for the first time, and you're liking what you're seeing, click that subscribe button, turn on notifications, all that good stuff that goes along with it. And for my XMG family members out there, you know I love you. So let me know how the new setup went. If you liked it, you can see me better, you can hear me better, all that stuff. I'll see you all in the next one. I love you. I'm out.